my friends. So welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing for lots more diamond painting content. And if you are back, welcome back. Today I'm here with a WIP and Chat. WIP stands for work in progress, and Chat stands for, well, chat. So feel free to whip out your WIP and work alongside me here tonight. I'm going to be working on a diamond painting and just joining you for my weekly catch up on all the things that are going on in life and crafting and content. And I'm really looking forward to sitting down and catching up with you while I am diamond painting away. So I am going to be trying out a new angle for you guys because I have definitely not forgotten that many of you have requested that I try to find a different setup where you're able to actually see while I'm diamond painting and the camera is not going in and out of focus and all sorts of other stuff. So I really am trying to see if I can find something that works well for you while also still working for my crafting space, which is my kitchen table and limitations that come with that and where I'm able to just set up to film. So we'll see how this works tonight. Please bear with me, but also feel free to give me feedback. I know some of you guys are like me and you don't watch WIP and Chats at all while they're going, but some of you, I think, enjoy watching the placing and all of that stuff. So I'm going to give it my level best today, and we'll see. I can always try new things. But anyway, let me give you a quick snapshot of what I'm going to be working with and on tonight. So I'm going to be working on the diamond painting June Blooms, which is a piece from DIY Moon Shop or Die Moon Shop, and the artwork is by Margaret Morales. It's really, really lovely. And even though it says June in the name, even the artist talks about how it was very much inspired by the spring. So the colors are just lovely. And I have a lot that's coordinating here actually with the colors in this piece. This pen, this is from Swampwood. It's the Swampwood blank, and it was actually turned by them as well. But look at all that pink. Love it. And then this is a new to me pen from, well, it's a new pen from Black Wolf Woodworks that I just unboxed in my most recent small shop haul, which it has been a minute since I've done that. But I thought we could pull out this one as well today. This tray, the color shift in it is just too perfect to not use with this kit today. It is from Muni Made. It's a newer filament that they have in, and I really, really, really love it. And it's in the large size. This minder is from Agnes Little Minders. And I got this one in a group of pre-orders that she did a while back. I saw her mention in her Facebook group recently that she may be doing another group of pre-orders in, I think, May. So yay for that. I love this little guy. It's a handmade polymer clay piece. And then I'm going to use some of my Naturamas mud, which this is in the scent It's Coffee Time. And I just got this one recently, and it was in my most recent small shop haul. And then in keeping with kind of that like pink, purple, aqua, mint, blue colors, I'm using mostly for the packaging, but also because I love this product. This is Enabler's Outpost Chit, which is scented putty, and this is in the scent Apple Pie. So let me go ahead and get a pen loaded up and ready to go. I haven't used this one from Black Wolf Woodworks whatsoever, whereas I was actually using the Swampwood one earlier. So let's do this one so that I can do a fresh like wax and putty and everything for you guys. But while I'm doing that, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing really, really well. I hope that your week is off to a wonderful start. Okay, I don't think that fits snug enough. I don't know that I need to do any washi tape on there. If you go to put a multi-placer in, especially for some reason these metal multi-placers and pens, hand-turned pens, sometimes they'll like be really loose and they'll even just kind of like freely rotate. I just grab some washi tape and wrap it around this part, particularly those little rings. I wonder actually if it would help if I just took those little rings off entirely. But anyway, that's okay. I think it's all right. I don't think I need any extra washi tape. So we're going to slide that in there. Let's load it up with some putty. Anyway, it's Sunday evening. So I'm filming this the evening before it's going to go up. And last evening, Adam and Connor were doing one of their it's one of their kind of newer traditions where they're doing like a movie night in. It's really, really cute. First they go to the store and they pick out whatever their movie theater candy is for the evening. Well, they pick out the movie, and Connor's been like picking out like, oh, do we have Like, can we watch something with this particular superhero or something like that? And then last night, Adam had suggested, he's like, why don't we watch Shazam? He's like, I can't believe I didn't think about Shazam. That's such a good kids movie, actually. He's like, well, why don't we watch Shazam? Because then we'll watch the first one here at home. And if you like it, maybe we can go see the second one in theaters, because that just went into theaters recently. And there hasn't been a good movie that Adam's been able to like take Connor to in the theaters. So that smells really, really good. I kind of go freely between some different putties, you guys. And I'm always liking to try new ones as well. But if you haven't tried out the Enablers Outpost Chit, you really definitely should. Anyway, especially because right now they're trying to raise a bit of money via sales. They're not like just asking for money. Because one of their poor doggos has to have some pretty major surgery that's going to be spendy. And of course they want to get him taken care of. But yeah, so if you haven't had the chance to check out their pens or their chit or their diamond paintings, you guys, they're diamond paintings too. Please go do that. Lots of love for small shops here lately. Okay, I think we are loaded up and ready to go. Let me grab my ceramic pen to cut open this section. Let's see. Don't worry, that sound, I'm not cutting through the canvas. I'm pressing pretty firmly. That's just the sound of the little tiny little ceramic blade on here. I always mention this because I get asked about this a lot, but this is just a really, really cheap ceramic blade pen. The camera does not want to focus on it. There's a little pokey here just on the end of it that I use this to cut the plastic cover when I section off my canvases. And that's what, that's how I do that without managing to like cut off, cut through my canvas at all. Words are hard tonight. Okay, you guys, let's see if we can get situated, and let me grab a color and we'll get started. So again, hi, how are you? How are you? It always takes me a few minutes to get situated in here. Like I said, it is Sunday evening. All is quiet. The kids are in bed. And I am sitting down to do some diamond painting with you guys. So I know the whole section is not in frame, so you'll have to bear with me. You won't always see the part that I'm diamond painting, but it's tricky. I was having a really kind of a difficult time getting this set up so that I'd be able to have you guys see any of what's going on, as well as like, I don't know, just have it in a place where I wouldn't be bumping it and it didn't block my view. So bear with me. The glue on this is just a little bit slippery. We're gonna power through. The drills don't seem to be falling off or anything like that on the section that I have completed, because I've completed like 2 rows down at the bottom. But just there's a couple sections where the glue is just a little bit slippery. So I knew that I wanted to work on either a Distracted by Diamonds kit or a DIY Moonshop kit here after I finished my most recently completed kit, because I was like, I haven't worked on something from either of these companies in a little while, and so I wanted to give them some love. And I also was just really, really, really in the mood to work on a kit by Margaret Morales. Her work is some of my very favorite. And I wanted to kind of see, because I've worked on a couple of kits from DIY Moonshop since they have done like these upgrades on their kits, and I kind of wanted to see like, how is this going to turn out? Because I've been seeing a lot of really mixed things out there lately, and it seems to just be very kind of wildly, which I don't love. But I thought, let me at least pull out this kit. Let me try one again and see. I worked on a Margaret Morales piece back in September or October for Drills and Chills last year. And it was from one of their more recently upgraded kits, one of these ones that came in a box. I say recently upgraded. It's been a while since they did these upgrades. Or I should say changes. So we shall see. We shall see. I don't really want to go down that whole rabbit hole. I want to try to have like a really neutral outlook on working on this kit, and then I will, share my thoughts more completely once I've actually completed it and can give more of a report on it. But anyway, This past week, I feel like I've had some like really fun videos go up. Oh, but first, let me just say, oh boy, I was like open mouth, insert foot after last week's WIP and Chat a little bit because here's what happened. I filmed that WIP and Chat over the weekend, and I had said in that WIP and Chat that, oh, this is the kit that's going to be my sneak peek for this week. I just shouldn't say anything about when something is going to be, because sometimes plans change for any number of reasons. There's a million different reasons why plans can change, and last week was one of those weeks where that happened, but those plans didn't change until after that WIP and Chat went up. And so I was not trying to be like misleading or shady. It was just, I was trying to do like a tiny bit of like apologizing and walking back, because everyone was kind of speculating in like the VIP Facebook group and other Facebook groups about Diamond Art Club's releases for the weekend, because it got to Tuesday, Wednesday. We hadn't seen any previews yet. And people were asking, like, are there going to be any releases this week? And more than once in the comments on those posts, people were like, oh, well, Katie was working on one in a WIP and Chat, so surely there's going to be. And what this even then turned into was that even when Diamond Art Club came in and said, like, no, there's not going to be any releases this week, we're going to have 2 next week, and we need a breather this week, then people were still like, oh, it's going to be an April Fool's joke. Katie already was working on the one that she said was going to be her new release this week. And I'm going to be like, no. Like, maybe they're going to surprise us with an April release, but if they are, it's not going to be the one that I was showing you guys. So I just was like, I shouldn't be specific anymore if I am working on something early, even if I'm hiding it and stuff. So I did finish that kit though, actually earlier today, and I'm not going to even try to make any promises at this point, because I'm like, with my luck, plans are going to change again, which is what it is. But hopefully, I will just say this, hopefully I will get to show you guys that kit really darn soon. And my apologies for misleading, whether intentionally or not. Because you know what? Even if you do something unintentionally, you should still apologize for it. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm owning it and apologizing for it. So anyway, sorry for the silliness. And then on Tuesday last week, I was so darn excited to get to announce and share the official details and everything for Summer with the Masters. And I want to thank you guys for being so incredibly welcoming and warm and friendly towards my co-host this year, Anthony. Anthony from Single and Placing is co-hosting Summer with the Masters with me, and it's going to be so fun to get to do that event together. He was so sweet when I first reached out to him, because I felt a little bit bad. I was like, okay, literally I just came from watching your vlog where you were talking about like wanting to make sure that you're creating space from like content and diamond painting, so that you're taking care of like your mental and physical health, and that you're trying to find like a good balance and stuff. And so I was trying to I gave him the out. I was like, that being said, like, I still would rather like at least talk to you about this. And if the answer is no, that is completely fine. I fully understand, but I would much rather at least give you the option and talk about it. Like, we could talk about it and see, is this something that you feel like is doable? And thankfully, like, he was completely ecstatic and totally on board and was like, yes, I am here for it. And he talked about this in his most recent vlog, so I'm not like blowing up his spot or anything, but or one of his recent vlogs anyway. I think he's had 1 or 2 go up since then. But yeah, he was like, no, I was planning to, I had already kind of created some space for participating in Summer with the Masters and hopefully getting to be like supporting and all of that. And he says, this is actually perfect. And he's so sweet. He's like, this is I feel like I've hit my peak goals and all that. It's so perfect. It's so meant to be. If you guys haven't checked out his channel before, please do. not just for Summer with the Masters, but he puts out some other really fun content and just kind of like chats and walks. And it's good. Like if you're like me, I really, really enjoy having WIP and Chat and vlog style videos going while I'm diamond painting. It feels like I'm just hanging out with a friend. And if you're watching this video, like you probably enjoy that kind of thing too, I feel like. So go check out what he's got to offer. Again, he's Single and Placing is the name of his channel, and I'll link to it in the description box below as well. So we are going to be chatting and planning and chatting, and I just know that he's going to be an amazing again part of co-hosting Summer with the Masters this year. Like he already has basically done like Summer with the Masters style videos in the past, like series and like deep dives on artwork and artists, and it was just a no-brainer. So I'm looking forward to getting to chat with him more and plan out what this is going to look like. And I think that like our strengths and the things that we tend towards content-wise will actually hopefully complement each other really well, because I tend to go towards I don't know, like maybe sort of the teaching side a little bit more, and like the deep dives on stuff and like the more historical explorations doesn't always tend to be my personal cup of tea, but that's a huge strength of his and something that he's really interested in. And so I feel like hopefully it's just going to be the best of both worlds, because we're both, going to bring these different things and passions to the table. Yeah, this angle it's a little bit of a problem that I'm not able to get the entire section in frame. Let me see. I'm going to adjust you a little bit, okay? Don't get nauseous. Okay. Because if I turn it too much, it's just a little wonky. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. Okay. You can look again. I'm not moving anymore. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be planning for that. I'm also planning a little bit for the other event, which I will be announcing soon. Again, I misled you in last week's video. This is what happens when I get too excited, too ahead of myself. And it is directly related to the kit that I was working on last week. And so that's why you didn't get to hear about that event yet, because I can't tell you more about it. So I will have that soon. I hope. Hopefully this week. We'll see. But I'm excited to get to share more information about that, and I'm kind of already mentally mapping some stuff out for that. That's going to be a little like lower frills, I feel like. It's more going to be like a diamond paint along. So, but I'm going to have fun with it. I'm stoked. I am stoked. So, make sure I'm getting... this kit only has alphanumeric symbols, so only letters and numbers. And so sometimes that makes my brain work just a little bit harder. I think my neighbors got a new dog. I'm pretty sure they got a new dog, because I have heard it outside yipping. You can hear it whining a little bit right now. I'm just kind of like, what are you guys doing? What's going on? So my sincerest apologies if you're hearing that in the background. I don't have a dog. That's not my dog. That's my neighbors, and I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, then we had that, and then there was no sneak peek last week. But I did have some other videos that went up, including on Saturday, which was April 1st. And April 1st, at least in the States, is this a thing? It's a thing in some other countries, but it's April Fool's Day. It's a day to do like pranks and stuff like that. And so I generally am not a huge fan of April Fool's Day, but several months ago, truly it's been several months, I am trying to remember exactly who originally gave me this idea. I feel like it was a conversation that I had with Jade and Christiane when they were over here. I'm pretty sure, because part of that initial conversation, I think this was the first conversation. I'm trying to remember, was it with like Jacqueline? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter, but I do remember having a conversation with Jade and Christiane over here and either telling them about this idea or coming up with this idea, where I was like, you know, it'd be such a funny April Fool's joke, is to have you guys bring over some of your completed kits and I'll do a month in review, but like I'll show some of your guys' kits instead of mine. And they both loved it and we're all about it. And as April 1st is getting closer, I'm like, shoot, am I going to pull this idea together? Do I want to do this? I feel like this would be really funny. And I had told my Patreon in a vlog clip, which I do have a Patreon if you're curious. No, that is not me being passive aggressive. This is me inviting you if you want to check out some more behind the scenes stuff and support my channel and get some fun perks. I do lives with one of those tiers monthly, and it's a lot of fun. But I had mentioned it to them and I was like, well, now I feel like I'm like, really, I should use that as accountability and make myself do it. One of those things where I'm like, let's do a video that's a little outside of my usual and stretch myself a little bit. So I finally decided, okay, yes, I'm going to do it. And so unfortunately, Christiane was working as I was pulling it together at the very, very last minute. But Jade was able to come over a couple of days before and brought a bunch of her completed kits and her friend Annie's completed kits. And she was there and helped me with actually like filming and putting together this April Fool's video, which on Saturday, if you didn't see it, I put up a video that I called like my month in review of March. And I tried to like sort of play it straight, but also like make it clear that it was a joke a little bit. I said something like completed a diamond painting kit a day. And I said something like I didn't sleep for 31 days straight, like in the title, to try to like give those cues that like, this is not for serious. But I decided to play it as straight as I could starting out. And it did get pretty manic as we went on. And I was kind of like, when I listened back to it, I was like, oh, wow, this really, really unraveled. Like, it really unraveled pretty crazily. And I was like, this level of energy is not my norm. And I was afraid that it would actually be like a huge turnoff to some of my audience. I think it was. But that's all right. That's not going to be like my new energy and vibe. It was purely for an April Fool's video. The color on the canvas almost looks purple. I want to make sure I grab the right color, because sometimes with these alphanumerics, there can be some that look a little similar. No, I think that was correct. But I still thought that it was like pure silliness, pure fun, and it was really funny to see, to read your guys' reactions and comments. And I was tickled that so many of you just enjoyed it. I also was really tickled at how many of you were like, I thought this was serious until X, it was different things for different people. Some of you that have been around for a little while were like, when I saw this kit, and I was like, no, I remember Katie working on this kit. There's even someone was like, you don't know how many times I restarted this video because I thought that I ended up on a video from last year. Or some people were like, it was when you got to the landscapes or when you got to the like larger size kits. And yeah, it was funny because I was trying to like walk that line of like, yes, I'm a fast diamond painter and I want there to be like just a little bit of like, oh, this seems maybe believable when you start out at the like, this is a diamond painting kit a day. But then for it to definitely, as we went on, become clear that it's like, no, there's no way. And it was really funny when there was a kit in there that like I hadn't really gotten a close look at, and I wasn't expecting. Like Jade was just handing me kits to show as we got close to the end. And there is a particular kit that she told me later, she's like, it's work that's based on like an anime horror show, like a scary show. And that was the one that I had to like, as she handed it to me, I'm like, horrified. Like, I'm like, this is so scary. I had to like flip it over partway through and I'm laughing and just like, I'm so sorry, artist. Like, this is not a reflection on what I think of you and your artistic ability, but I was also I was hamming it up a bit for comedic effect, but it was fun. It was entertaining, and I had to cut around a whole lot of laughing because sometimes I'd be holding it together perfectly fine, but I would be, like I said, Jade was right there, like handing me stuff and giving me some feedback when I would pause and be like, how should I play this? Like, what should I do? But sometimes I'd be playing it totally straight and I would say something that set her off and I would see her just like literally drop to the floor, trying not to like laugh out loud, but like seeing her reaction made me lose it. And so, yeah, it was chaotic and amazing. There was a tiny nod in there that I was like, this is really, really, really subtle. But I was wearing this particular bracelet, which I was like, it's in green and gold colors, which is very much like Loki's colors, Loki from like the Marvel movies and like obviously the Marvel comics, but I'm personally the biggest fan of like his character in the Marvel movies, like the MCU and like the TV show and stuff. And I was like, well, you know, this is a tiny nod where I was like, look, it's a green and gold bracelet. It's Loki's colors. Loki is the god of mischief. I'm being mischievous by playing a prank on, you know, he's a trickster and he's a trickster as well. So I'm being a trickster here on April Fool's. So yeah, he's my favorite. He's my favorite character. I love it. I love it. Anyway, so that was fun. That's a little bit of backstory, insight, context for what putting that together, that April Fool's video was like. And I do hope you guys enjoyed it. And even if you haven't watched it yet and you didn't know it was an April Fool's video, like now you do. I might change the title. I might go ahead and change the title. I did also say in the video at least twice, I was like, I wanted to make sure this video goes up on the 1st of April. Like, I needed this to be timely. So I just am thinking if that video stays on my channel and people come across it, I don't want them to be like, what I don't get, why is this funny? Why is she doing this? Now what I have to figure out is like, do I do a regular month in review like I always do? Like recap and review? I don't know. Probably. But I have a lot of videos currently on the schedule for this week, so I'll have to see if I can fit it in. So yeah, that was that. Oops. I lost my mic strand thing here. Hold on a second. Hopefully that's not gonna give you lots of feedback as I'm fixing that. Okay. So my mom left last week, moving on to like kind of just general updates and stuff like that. My mom left last week. We had a really good visit. She left on Tuesday, went back to Arizona with my dad. Unfortunately, with them both just kind of being a little under the weather because she did catch that cold that she and I both caught from Micah. She was just not really feeling it. It was a really persistent cold. We both tested negative for you know what on this, which she shouldn't have had anyway because she had just had it. But she and my dad ultimately decided to postpone their plans, which I was confusing. And I think even just flat misspoke in my WIP and Chat last week, where I was like, they're going to go to the Grand Canyon and they're going to go to Colorado. The Grand Canyon is not in Colorado. They were going to go to the Grand Canyon and then after go up to Colorado and visit some family that my dad has there that they haven't seen in years. So that's what that was. It was like they're going to head north from where they are in Arizona. They're going to go up to the Grand Canyon and then to Colorado. So my bad on the geography misspeaking there. They decided to postpone both of those things until they're feeling better and until the weather is better, because apparently, okay, I'm afraid of misspeaking again, actually. So please don't quote me on this. I feel like there was some weather that, like, going up to Colorado that was going to be problematic. Like, is there snow? There was something that was like, we might not even be able to get there, or it might take us like a really, really, really long time to get there. it was something. It was a combination of things. So then it was like they were still going to do the Grand Canyon, but then they decided, let's just postpone that whole part of our trip. We kind of just want to get home at this point. So I really hope that this is not the new norm where their spring training trips are cursed, because that's been a thing the past couple of years for them, and I feel so bad for them that that's been the case. I'm like, please let this not be the new thing for them. But they're driving home now. They're debating, because normally it's like a 3-day drive. They're debating stretching it into a 4-day drive and staying over an extra night in St. Louis and seeing the Arch and doing a little bit of like touristy sightseeing around there maybe. So I'm not sure if they'll end up doing that or not. My mom was kind of iffy on it when I talked to her today, because today was day 2 of their driving, and I think she said they made it to Oklahoma today. I think that's what she said. And so they would get to like St. Louis tomorrow. When Adam and I moved across the country, which it'll have been 13 years this summer, we moved out from Ohio. And I remember we actually drove cross country. We had packed most of our stuff up into one of those. It wasn't the Pods brand, but it was the same concept. We moved out here, and we really didn't have much in the way of like furniture or other stuff like that. It was like clothes and you know, wedding gifts, because we had just like gotten married and stuff like that. And then we just drove the one car out, and it was a whole crazy newlywed adventure. We dropped this same route. We dropped south from Ohio, because there's like 2 routes you can come from like the East Coast to the West Coast. You can kind of go like middle of the country, which takes you like through Colorado and stuff. Or you can drop south and go through like Texas and New Mexico and all that. The south route is faster, but the north route I hear is more scenic. We've never done it, so I can't say with any certainty. But I remember when we were driving out, I feel like it was Missouri. When we were driving through Missouri, it was like as soon as we crossed the border, this was highly amusing to us. And this was keep in mind, this was 13 years ago. A lot can change in 13 years. I have no idea if this is still the case. 13 years ago, it's like as soon as we crossed the border into Missouri, I almost said Mississippi, Missouri, it was billboard central. Like there were tons and tons and tons of billboards on the whole freeway through. And it was one of either extreme. It was either church and Jesus Saves, or it was adult stores and gentlemen's clubs, but like not classy, not classy billboards. It was like either extreme. And I remember just kind of my jaw hitting the floor a little bit and being like, the dichotomy for me is kind of unreal. Like, is this a joke? And then we crossed the border out of Missouri into, would Oklahoma have been next? I don't know my geography, even though I live here in the States. We crossed out of the border out of Missouri and into the next state, and that was it. Then it was like, okay, no more crazy billboards with either extreme. And it was so incredibly amusing to us at the time. I don't know if you guys live in Missouri. It was Missouri, right? I'm pretty sure it was Missouri. If anyone still lives there, tell me if this is still a thing. It was like whatever interstate cuts through, like kind of diagonally. I don't remember which it was. But it was really entertaining. It was highly entertaining at the time. I was just kind of like, all right, well, this is what's happening. Anyway, random tangent. While my mom was here, we did get a lot done. I think I kind of covered some of it last week. But unfortunately, us being sick meant that we didn't get quite as much done as we wanted to. But we did get a lot done. We tackled, I feel like it's still staring at me, our backyard area. Because I have not gone back out to do like the other half of it. We like really got some of the crazy out of control weeds and landscaping under control, but we only had the energy to do like half of the yard at the time. And I really need to bring Adam out there with me to help me do the other half, because I do best when I'm like body doubling, which is something that like I think is a thing with a lot of like neurodiverse people, which is that especially if you struggle with something like executive dysfunction, sometimes all you need is to have someone else that's like also working alongside you, even if you're not working on the same exact thing. Like when Jade was over here the other day, earlier in the day, before we did all the filming stuff, like we did all the filming after my kids went to bed, but earlier, like while my kids were around, it's like while my kids were being chill, Jade and I were both kind of like actually getting some work done. It wasn't stuff that we were working on together. She was doing stuff for her shop, and I was trying to get through some emails and some other like kind of admin type stuff. And that's body doubling is sort of the term that sometimes gets used, but I think that that's so useful. And it wasn't like we were talking and being social even necessarily most of that time. There was a good amount of that because we're chatterboxes when we're together, but a lot of it really was like it was totally just comfortable, chill silence. We were both just kind of getting some work done. I was like, I feel productive. Like we should do this more often. But I work a lot better and I'm more productive when there's like someone that's either, working on the same task with me or just co-working, like working alongside me, which is sort of what I imagine what we're doing right now. That's, I think, why I like WIP and Chats a lot, is because it's like, well, someone else is working and keeping me company and I'm sitting down and getting some work done too. So I don't know. Are you guys like that as well? Where you're like, I work better when I'm like alongside someone? But yeah. So we did get a lot done, and I always enjoy her visit. She's going to be back out next month because Connor has a birthday. Speaking of birthdays, Micah had his birthday, and would I have mentioned this in the last WIP and Chat? Maybe. We did like early cupcakes with my mom, and then we did another round of cupcakes on Micah's actual birthday. And both times he loved us singing happy birthday to him, which is progress from past years when he got really upset when we sang the happy birthday song to him. This year he was happy about the happy birthday song, but he did not want a candle, which was totally fine. I was like, hey, you know what? This is progress. This is great. And then his teacher very, very sweetly had put together like a cute little birthday backdrop and stuff for him on his birthday at school and sent me some cute pictures. And I was like, that's so sweet. I am just continuing to feel really darn happy and really darn lucky and fortunate that he's ended up in the new special ed TK program that he's in, which is transitional kindergarten. It's like a pre-kindergarten program. If you've been around for a minute, you would have heard me talk a lot about this, like towards the beginning of the school year, and how he had been placed in this special ed TK program that I loved the teacher, but unfortunately it had a pretty early start time, and that was really, really hard on Micah. But there were no openings in programs with later start times in the district. They opened one towards the beginning of this year, and I was anxious about moving him because I loved the teacher he had, but he has clicked so incredibly well with his current teacher. And I think it helps a lot that it's a much smaller class size in general. So I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I get tons and tons of like communication from his teacher, which I know is not always the norm, and I don't expect it. Like, teachers work super, super, super hard. They have a ton on their plate, especially in these special ed classrooms. But it is a huge treat, and I'm extremely grateful that she has the capacity and the margin and like the desire to like do those. So, like, send, like, it's almost, she does like weekly photo dumps in the app that she uses for communication with parents, and she's very communicative. We get like these little like update sheets, like almost daily, that's like, here's how my day went, here's what I did, here's what my mood was, that sort of thing. And so I really love that. I really, really love that. And like I said, I don't expect it because I know that's a whole lot of work and teachers are really overworked, but I'm grateful. I'm very, very grateful. And it does help. It does help a lot. Micah did start speech therapy this past week. He only got to go to his, to one day session. But it went really well. He was all about it. There were no tears and no fuss about going back with the speech therapist. And it was funny. She came out after. I'm feeling deja vu. Like, did I talk about? No, I couldn't have, because I put up my WIP and Chat before we had his first speech therapy session. I must have talked about it in a Patreon blog. But anyway, the speech therapist had come out after his first session to do like a little update. And she was pulling out like the list of goals that had been made after his initial intake and assessment, which was about 2 months ago at this point, because there's a long waiting list after that assessment. But she pulled out the goals and she was kind of like, so this first goal on here, which has to do with identifying objects, she's like, he's already met that. I'm not sure why that was written up as one of his goals. And I said, this assessment was done almost 2 months ago at this point, and he's had a language explosion since then. She was like, okay. So they can update it if they need to. It's not a big deal, but I just thought it was amusing to me. It's like, yeah, I know. He just has started talking so much just in the past couple of months. And so, yeah, some of those goals might be, he might hit them really quickly or have already hit them. But some of the others on there, it was like, okay, no, this is absolutely something we still need to be working towards. So hopefully he'll get to go to 2 sessions this week, because he should be in twice a week. We just had a scheduling conflict with last week's second planned session. But yay, I'm just so glad he's in speech, and I'm gonna make sure that, like, I signed the release and everything so that the school can communicate directly with the private speech therapists and stuff, so they can tag team if they need to, because he has to get some speech at school as well. Yeah, he's doing great, and he's 5. How do I have a 5-year-old, you guys? He's my baby. Connor's doing well with school. He's very excited that it is spring break. We are, with the start of April, we actually have started some, I feel weird going into detail about it. But it's not even a big deal. But basically, we found a way that we can sort of help teach him about like some basic like finances and like money management, because he's been asking for stuff like Robux, because he's really into the game Roblox, and we've been telling him no like for a very, very long time, and talking about like there's so much you can do that is completely free in this game. Like, we don't want to get into this sort of habit of spending money on stuff like this. But at the same time, it's like, well, we could, there's some good lessons that we could hopefully teach him here about like the value of saving and where we put our money and that sort of thing. So we kind of found some ways that we can do that starting this month. And I don't know, I feel like I am so far from a perfect parent, and I'm just making this up as I go along, and hopefully not messing up my kiddos too bad. But he's all about it. He's really interested, and I think is going to be really motivated for it too. I don't know why I'm being a little cagey. I think because I'm feeling a little bit like, especially as my kids are getting older, I want to be really cognizant of like what I'm sharing about them, because I want them to have privacy and autonomy and have a say in like what is out there about them. And right now, like, I have control over like the context in which this happens, like, well, for the most part. But like I try to be really incredibly respectful about how I talk about my kids, and not be like, I don't know, reducing them to what their special needs may be. And I try to make it more about like how it's affecting me and my experiences like as a parent. So I'm really always just trying to be aware of those kinds of things. Like, what are the kinds of things that I'm okay with putting out there? What are the things I think my kids are okay with me putting out there? Like, especially once they're older, and it's like, once it's on the internet, it's forever. So I guess I'm sort of thinking about that, like I said, especially as they get older. But I try to, like I said, always do it through the lens of being very respectful and not making their struggles about me, but more talking about just like what I'm trying to do to be like the best mom that I can to them and stuff like that. But I don't know if that makes any sense. It's just, you're getting a little bit of my brain dump. Along with that, I actually, one of the things that I sat down to do, because I was feeling a little overwhelmed with my to-do list. I feel like it's been piling up, and I feel like there's a lot of time-sensitive things that have been piling up and are now like, all of these things need to get done in like the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I was sitting down, I made a list. I was like, if I write it all out, even though I really don't like making lists, I'm weirdly resistant to it, but I made myself a list so that I could have it in black and white and be like, here's what I need to take care of. And one of the things that I did, because this has been on my mind and been a priority for a while, I did some digging. I finally reached out to a couple of people, and I had sent a message over to my primary care physician as well. And I guess I don't want to like jinx it by talking too much about it, because I just don't know how it's going to go. But I do have an appointment with a psychiatrist team. Finally, it's a little ways out because I have a bit of a waiting list, but just to get an assessment. It's an initial intake, and then there will be assessments after that. The appointment that I have on the calendar right now is the initial intake and stuff for, like, I kind of would like to see if I could get an official diagnosis or be assessed for if I'm autistic. So that is actually like on the calendar, and there's things moving forward with that. And I feel equal parts like trepidation and like the positive kind of anticipation. Like I feel both. I think that self-diagnosis in adults can be a very valid thing, but I think that having something official could also be really helpful as well. Also, just because it's like I want to see, like, maybe is there something else going on? There's a lot of comorbidities between autism and ADHD, and both are difficult to diagnose in adults, and especially adult women. And so we'll see. This is one that I had found through a database that is like really positive in how they approach things like diagnosing, positive in how they approach things like autism anyway. So I'm hoping that means that this is going to be like a positive experience, and they take our insurance, which we've been dealing with some real insurance headaches lately. And so I was not expecting it to be like, oh yeah, we take your insurance and your deductible's waived. It's just going to be this copay, blah, 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 blah. I was like, really? Like, there's no way it's going to be that simple. I thought it was going to be a whole headache to get like referrals and insurance authorizations and everything. I'm like, no, mental health is it's a different part of your insurance. I was like, oh, that's wonderful. Like, thank you. So we'll see. It's interesting timing too, because April is what's commonly known as Autism Awareness Month. I am noodling on, I may be doing something with a fellow creator at some point this month. We'll see how the timing works out, because she and I are both very busy. But I kind of ascribe to similar feelings about the whole Autism Awareness Month idea and campaign as a lot of other actually autistic, I don't know if I should claim that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. A lot of people in the autistic community are not a fan of Autism Speaks as an organization, or the idea of autism awareness. There's a lot of like general like dislike and disapproval of like the puzzle piece symbol, because it's like autistic people are not incomplete. They are whole people. And it's like awareness shouldn't be the goal. Acceptance should be the goal, and understanding should be the goal. And so those are the kinds of ideals and missions that like I focus on as a parent to 2 autistic kids. That's why you'll often hear me specifically referring to my kids as autistic, not as with autism, because it's a core part of like who they are. And it's not like a disease that they have. It's interesting. It's interesting when you kind of dive into what the thought process behind that all is, but it's more affirming and positive, and looking at it as these are the gifts and the abilities that my children have, and looking at it as, I don't know how to put it. I'm not collecting my thoughts on this very well at the moment, because I'm feeling a little bit scatterbrained, and I think a little flustered talking about it because I don't feel qualified to talk about it. And there's some emotions tied up in it. But if you kind of poke around a little bit, you'll come across some articles and some just thoughts from like the autistic community and others just about why this sort of thing is important, and why they want to kind of change the narrative a bit. But yeah, anyway, random tangent, random soapbox. I can't seem to avoid those in my WIP and Chats lately. But that truly is just sort of what's been more fresh on my mind, I suppose. Let's see, we do have some of the symbol over here. Other things that are going well, or just going on, I suppose, and going well. Adam said to share his thanks for all of your kindness and enjoyment of his hanging out last week. I really enjoyed him coming by to chat and be really silly with me. That genuinely is just our dynamic, is we rag each other, and we're pretty silly and tease each other, and also love each other a whole lot too. But yeah, he enjoyed coming by and talking and letting you guys know about what's going on with his new job. I really enjoyed getting to hear some of it too, because some of that, like, I didn't necessarily know like all of the ins and outs of what he had shared. And so that was really fun for me too. And he was up at UCLA for most of the day, one day earlier this week, for like this conference that they had put on, or like this web thing that they had put on. It was part in person and part like broadcast, and I think that went really well. And excuse me, I keep having these weird hiccups. I've been super, super prone to hiccups lately, and I don't know why. It's a little disconcerting. But yeah, no, he's doing well with it. He's hoping that, hopefully this may turn into full time sooner rather than later. But for the moment, he's just glad that he's like, yay, I've got a job, and it's in something that I feel like really excited to be a part of, which is really, really, really cool. And I'm really stoked and proud of him. We are definitely feeling that one car struggle. I finally kind of pinpointed earlier today why I feel like it's been such a point of stress and tension for me, or frustration for me lately, is like, well, I know that tons and tons and tons of people make it work with just one car for a long time. It's really difficult with having 2 young kids, and with how incredibly busy Adam's schedule is. I find myself at home without a car a lot, and even then feeling like, well, I don't want to like do a lot with our car and put like more miles on it and spend on gas and stuff. And so I feel like I've lost some of my independence because of it. And I know that that's probably an incredibly privileged thing to say, and such a first world problem. But that has been like a huge struggle for me lately. And so I'm trying really, really hard to adjust my mindset about it and to like recognize it, like name the thing so that the thing doesn't have power anymore. And like, okay, let's just kind of figure out ways to sort of regulate through this, and let's be realistic about it. I am really hoping that we'll be able to get a second car at some point in the somewhat near future, but reality is I'm not sure when that's going to be. But that's just been kind of a struggle lately. And so, like I said, I'm trying to find ways to change my mindset about it and be more positive, but also to be okay with, like, I don't want to be toxically positive. I want to be like, it's okay to just be annoyed and frustrated by this thing, but I don't want to live in a perpetual state of frustration about it, you know? So it's like, okay, be annoyed and frustrated and then like move through it instead of just being like, I just wish we had a second car. I just wish we had a second car. I hate that we only have one car. That's not like helpful. It's not healthy either. So there's got to be a middle ground. But we're going to be continue to like scrimp and save, and let's get it when the time is right. So, but yeah, that's just kind of been on my mind. And it was specifically today, I had that realization of like, oh, I think that this stress is largely coming from this sense of feeling like I've lost some independence and being stuck like at home. And that's not Adam's fault, like at all. It's just not. It's just the reality of like our situation and how I've approached it. So we'll see. When the time is right, it'll happen. But we're coming on the hour mark. I did kind of tilt my head to actually look, because the way my phone is angled for filming, it's a little bit different than usual. So anyway, yeah, we're coming up on the hour mark. So let me work on wrapping things up here. This week, what's coming? Hopefully some things that will not be changed last minute due to schedule, but we shall see. Definitely I have a post review filmed of one of my recently completed kits. I probably should film my actual real month in review video for the month of March, because I did finish some diamond paintings that I want to share some more about with you and kind of recap the month. And the kids are on spring break this week though, so we'll probably be trying to do some like fun family stuff, and Easter is next weekend, and so we may spend that with like Adam's family, and of course we have to plan for the Easter bunny to make an appearance. And yeah, we're gonna try to find some fun things to do with the kids, especially because Adam's working part-time. It's like, well, we can find a day or two and find someplace fun to take them. It's actually supposed to get pretty warm here in Southern California. It's been chilly, like, well, I say chilly, but it's really just chilly for Southern California. Not really that cold. It's been like in the 50s and 60s, like highs in the high 60s or like low 60s depending. And next week it's supposed to actually get up to like 80 a couple of days. So maybe we could take the kids to like the beach or something. So we'll see, but that'll be fun. We'll try to find some fun stuff to do with them over spring break together. But that will throw a tiny wrench in my ability to film in the mornings, which is a bummer. I really love getting to film in the mornings because the natural light coming in is like my ideal for filming. I really, really love being able to film that way, but that's okay. So we'll see. I'll mostly be filming in the evenings after they go to bed. But yeah, Diamond Art Club's planning on having 2 releases this week, so I should have 2 sneak peeks for you if all goes according to plan. They've said as much, they've announced as much. I'm not giving away information that I'm not supposed to. That is something that they have said. And I really need to do another small shop haul because I have a little accumulation of packages over there, and I gotta get through those and share with you guys because I have some stuff I'm excited to share with you. So thanks for hanging out with me today. If you made it all the way to the end, how about some kind of flower emoji, since this is June Blooms is the name of this kit, and let me know how you are doing today. If you're one that likes to watch the screen during a WIP and Chat, let me know if this angle worked out a little bit better for you, if you could see a little bit more clearly. I can probably make this work a little bit longer term maybe, so we'll keep playing around with it. I'm open to feedback, but I'm hoping that this at least was satisfying for those of you that really do enjoy getting to see me place diamonds a little bit more clearly. But I'm gonna let you guys go. Leave that pink flower emoji if you made it to the end. Let me know what you were working on, how your week was, any fun plans you have this week. And yeah, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed so you can stay up to date with all the diamond painting content I'll be putting out, including lots of fun stuff this week. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing, amazing start to your week, and I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye.